right, Battletech fans, it's time for yet another edition of Before the Fight. And this time we're back right here at Garner's Games in Denison, Texas. And if you're a longtime fan of the show, you've seen it on Season 1, Episode 2. We were here before. I kind of had bad luck in this store, Doug, so this one might turn out well for you. You never know. But this is my featured player, Douglas Parker. He's one of the patrons of the show. Say hello to the folks at home.
Howdy.
Now, we got a great game set up here. Most of the time, the players don't get to see the battlefield before we start, but this is the second time we've done that. We did that out in Phoenix, and I kind of like that idea. So let's do that again. But tell me about this. This is a story that we're going to play out here today that you wrote as a kid, is that right?
Well, actually, a friend of mine wrote it. We had a narrative kind of campaign going about this mercenary unit we created, and he actually played out some of the games. What was the big, for the large elements, Battle Force?
Battle Force, yes.
He battle forced out a raid we did on a Capellan planet that was contested by McCarron's armored cavalry.
Yeah.
And the goal was to, well, my goal, because my unit was the terror troopers for the group, we basically made ourselves as big a target as possible.
Sure.
Was to steal their chemical weapons dump, so that everybody from then on would wonder if we had chemical weapons.
Ah, okay. So that's what we've got over here, is we've got the chemical weapons set up. We got the nuclear power plant. We got the building right here. That's what we're doing. We're kind of like smash and grab, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
You come in, you either take the chemical weapons, or you make sure that the enemy can no longer use them. And you just mentioned McCarron's armored cavalry. That's one of the big things I've been so excited about this game. I'm like, Big Mac on the track! Boy, I have never had the opportunity to play McCarron's armored cavalry, and I'm just kind of getting my feet wet playing these big cannon units where I've done the Black Widow Company now. And we got some more stuff planned for that in the future. We'll talk about that at a future date. I want to talk about this today. Well, we were setting this up. You were going, oh boy, oh, this isn't what I wanted to see. And so I got to ask, why? What about this is making you nervous?
I got a couple of hover tanks that I'm using.
Right.
And
which I completely forgot about.
Those go best flat out, especially that Saladin.
Oh God, the Saladin. I got history with that guy. And as you know, most of the time, we set these battlefields up with a disinterested third party doing it. That way, I have no idea what the battlefield's going to look like, and I can't really influence it all that much. And so when I come out on these things, I never really know what I'm going to expect. And so I had completely and totally forgot about the fact that there was these hover tanks. And so now I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I'm the defender this time, so I'm going to have my work cut out for me, it looks like. So what is exactly the thought process in your head of choosing these units? What was it that made you say, I want these guys? Was that part of your old campaign?
Yeah. The mechs are from my company.
Okay.
The tanks are from our intelligence unit.
Okay.
And they have been operating together to locate and neutralize chemical weapons, while the main line units were taking on the line companies of McCarron's armored cavalry. Or McCarron's armored travesty is what we refer to.
Oh boy! I love these miniatures you brought. Did you paint these?
Yeah. They're. I was messing around with those turbo dork.
The turbo dorks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
These
metallic.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to use those yet.
What is it? Spicy meatball, and then there's a black that's called 6-shooter. Kind of an iridescent black.
Okay, 6-shooter and spicy meatball.
Yeah, I haven't got the details down on them yet, but time gets away from you.
Oh yeah, believe us, we know. So, okay, you're looking at this battlefield, you're looking at the setup. How do you feel like you're going to do? You know what I've got. You know what I'm bringing to the table. And I decided this game was just going to be, I just want to have fun. So, very rarely will you ever see me field a rifleman unless it's just part of something that I have to do. As much as I don't hate the rifleman, I just don't like to use it.
Yeah.
But I threw it on there this time. I'm like, the heck with it. I'll bring my Vindicator back. I used the Vindicator to decent effect the last time I was in this story. In this store. So how do you feel like you're going to do? Talk to me.
I feel like I'm going to have my best shot trying to infiltrate up and get you at close range.
Sure. Don't tell me your tactics. I don't want to know that.
It's pretty obvious with this setup.
People, the universe will surprise you. Let me put it to you that way. You could think that you know everything, and then somebody,
and then somebody knows. Then you like think that you've known what they're gonna do, but then they go nope.
Exactly. No plan survives first contact with the enemy.
Then they just walk out of the door.
And it doesn't matter because the dice will betray me at some point.
Oh boy.
It's always been that way.
And see, we've got these 3 little islands over here, which our cameraman has been setting up. I think it's kind of like an inside joke at this point. See, you even got those ones over there. He just likes to put those things there. Just like,
he just likes to put random little
yeah,
islands.
why not? Because why not? It's Battletech, right? So, So this is Bernadette. This is Douglas's daughter. That's who you've been hearing talking off the camera. We had to have that outside perspective. You know, you just never know what they're going to say, and I love it. So we got a really great game set up here. I'm super excited to play it. I never go into these things expecting to win or expecting anything other than I just want to have a good fight. Like, that's it. That's all I want to do. And I'm looking at the mechs I got, and I think that my outlier here is going to be that Hermes, because he's so fast. You know, the way I painted it in the Denver Broncos colors, I always joke it's Joe Flacco's mech. And every time I pull it out, I'm like, oh, Joe Flacco's mech. I get to use that. And so I haven't gotten to use this in so long. So I'm just happy to get that out there. The Blackjack, I got nothing but love for. If you've watched the Tex Talks Battletech about the Blackjack, it's got my name on it. So I figure it's kind of like, the Blackjack's kind of like my gimmick now. I gotta ride out there anytime I get the opportunity to do it.
The one that you said, hey, Mr. Tex, do the Blackjack.
No, but I was very surprised to find out that there was some art that had depicted one of the Blackjacks, and it had my name written on the torso of it. And you gotta understand, folks, I was like, yee! Like, you know those posts on the internet where you see, and somebody's like, I'm screaming, and you're like, you're not screaming, you know you're not screaming. I was screaming. I was jumping up in my bed like, ah, to stop the video.
He always says there's a lot more Easter eggs in those than people realize.
Oh, I'm sure. I can't even pick out all of them, so I feel like the Blackjack kind of like my gimmick.
Gimmick with a one gunner? That's more than a gimmick.
Well, okay, yes, but I was like, well, I'm giving up so much juice in just choosing that machine. So I was like, I gotta have something to make this worth my while, or else I'm just kind of, The Rifleman, we'll see. I used it just fine when I was doing, Gentleman Johnny, but it can't fire everything. I mean, if it goes 2 large lasers, you're going up to 8 on the heat scale. So yeah. The Rifleman is one of those things where you got to really know how to ride the heat scale. You got to know your angles. You got to know which way you want to play it. And I really wanted to kind of challenge myself there, just to see whether or not I could do it. Because like I was just saying, I played it just fine when it was Gentleman Johnny Clavel in the Black Widow game, and I got his miniature here with me, so hopefully, Lucky Johnny will be with me there. But okay, you've been playing for how long, you say?
I haven't played for quite some time. I played a lot when I was a teenager, early 20s.
Sure.
47 now. And I hadn't played for, that would have been close to 25 years when you and I played in Tulsa.
Right, I remember that. We had this little grinder game going on. We live streamed it. It was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So okay, you've got all this experience, even though you haven't played for a long time. I'm sure you've been at the very least an observer. A very interested observer in what's going on. Mm-hmm. So you see what's going on with the clan invasion. You see all the miniatures that are coming out now. The new force packs, they're hitting the stores. Oh, yeah. We got some here on the shelf at Garner's. What do you think about the direction that Battletech is going?
I like it. I like that it's still alive, for one thing. But it seems to be prospering. It's actually have hope of playing local games.
Right?
Or somewhat local games.
The question that I think I asked Ray the last time I was in here was, do you think that we're on this wave and we're going to get to a point where Battletech has even anywhere close to the same kind of market presence, store presence as it used to back in the days when we were playing, where you could get it any game store with a driving distance? Do you think we can ever get back to that point, or should we just be happy with what we got now?
I'd like to see us get back to that point. I think they could. It's going to require some careful marketing.
Sure.
And guys like you. Kind of
you're too kind. I was about to start bringing up Ill Clan and stuff, and now I'm all flustered. But, thank you. I love doing this. Like, we travel around, we get to meet all kinds of people, but I was just saying at the meet and greet at Strategicon, check them out, strategicon.net, Ayo. We actually get to go out and we get to see what's really going on in the Battletech communities. We get to not just shake hands with people and play a game with them, we get to see what's their local meta like, or what's their local presence like, what do they got going on here. And that, I really feel like the people is what makes this game great. Like, everybody's got a story, And I always tell, I've told you this, I've told anybody that'll ever listen to me, I don't just want to tell war stories, I want to tell your stories. I want to tell the stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And I really feel like going out to the Battletech communities and seeing what exactly is going on out there and connecting with those people is the ability to tell those kind of stories that I don't feel like you can get if you just do it in a kind of sterile environment where it's the same guys every single time and, just using different miniatures.
Right.
So how do you feel about that aspect of the whole thing? the storytelling.
I like it. I mean, it's a good thing. It's about the people, really. That's going to inform their history, and that's going to inform their play style, which going to affect anybody that's watching the game, how they see it played out. You learn from it and you adapt to it. And it's better than someone going, "Oh, I saw this on the last time so and so did a versus or a battle, battle thing or battle analysis of this mech. I know what I'm going to do with this. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be that Warhammer gun line where people develop this one tactic."
And I feel like, it's you have the same story being told over and over again. It's kind of like, well, all right. Yeah. But when you have something different every single time, it's not just, why are you going out to shoot these people? Because you hate them. Okay, but why? Because you hate them. That's why. No, I like to have a reason. Like, why are we doing this? Why are these guys blasting each other in the smithereens? And I feel, and you're right. I feel like the people is what makes it the best. Because I was just telling a new player, or a potential new player, let me put it to you like that, that we were talking about while we were setting up. You just, the skill of the player is really what puts the salt on the steak there. You really don't know. You could have two forces that are as equal as you could possibly get them. And you could just have the die rolls, or you could have the experience of the player, and it takes the scales from this to this in no time flat. And so that's a really exciting element. And I'm fairly excited to see what you're capable of outside of the let's just roll some dice and mess around here and pretzels type thing. Like, this is a legit, clash, a battle of wills to be won here. And now, folks, making his triumphant return to the space lanes here on Battlebound, we got the man himself. It's Ray Garner. He's coming down. I want him to provide a little bit of ancillary tactical analysis here. You've seen the forces, haven't you? Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think of this whole thing? This is the guy that beat me Season 1, Episode 2, whipped the pants off me, y'all. Go back and watch that one.
Well, given his forces, and that, if I remember correctly, this was the objective from earlier.
Correct.
And this is a take and hold, right?
Right.
And this is the opposing forces.
Yep. So I got that Hermes, I got the 1DB Blackjack, standard everyday rifleman, standard everyday Vindicator.
Excellent. Those are good solid mechs. It's going to have the hover tanks, which is going to give them a little bit of an advantage because you'll have a model count advantage.
Yeah.
And the Wolverine, as we already mentioned before, is the toughest nails.
One of
the mechs I ran. The Grasshopper is also a tremendously solid mech, and so is the Guillotine. And it basically, none of those mechs are going to fall easy.
No, that takes a while to knock those guys out. And I feel like even though I'm the defender in this situation with those mechs, I feel like he's got a lot more beef, on the grill over here than what I got.
The armor value comparison is substantially leaning in his favor.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so
I knew I was taking a risk. Mm-hmm. I knew it.
If you lose the rifleman, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like every time we come to Garner's games, Tuck takes some kind of crazy risk. Well, actually, okay, to be fair, I didn't take any crazy risks last time. No one does a slice like Big Rico. No one.
What?
But anyway, so you've seen the terrain. How do you feel about this whole setup? What do you feel like the tactics are going to have to look like coming from each side?
You're going to need to find a good firing position and use the range advantage that you have. Make him have to maneuver around a train because while his stuff is sturdy, the Saladin, the hovers can get around. Hovers can always get around.
Sure.
But the rest of his mech unit, with the exception of the Wolverine, is stock standard slow.
Sure.
So while at least they do have jumps to combat the terrain deal, his forward progress is going to be hindered by the 464 movement. So if you can force him into having to take slower routes, take more long-range fire than what he's probably wanting to take, the advantage will be yours. If this becomes a knife fight, you're done.
Tell us how you really feel. I feel like my guys are 4-6, just like what he's got. The only fast guy I've got is that Hermes. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, if he gets taken out real fast, I'll kind of be like, well, all right, now I'm in trouble. So I don't want this to turn into what you just said, a knife fight, because everybody likes to just move to the middle and shoot one another.
Yep.
I feel like, I might have to play the long game on this one. I'm not sure, but...
You'll have to pepper for a while before I mean, eventually it will always end up a knife fight just because the eventual speed will have that. But you want him shredded as much as you can before he gets there.
Before it gets to that point, right? Well, gosh, I think I've got a big task on my hands. I got my work cut out for me.
Good.
Well, we sure are looking forward to playing this game, and I sure hope you enjoy watching it as much as we're about to enjoy playing it for you. It's going to be great. We're right here. We're at Garner's Games for round number 2 on the Space Lanes Battlebound. We'll see you on the episode.
Be sure to smash our like button and subscribe to our channel.
Crowdfunding is when lots of people give you small amounts of money to help your passion project come to life.